Oh man. Alright, that's enough of the soundboard. Man. What's good, YouTube? Trizzy Gang in the hood. Trizzy Gang was good, family. Listen, man. This is, unfortunately, I'm not going to say like it's the last Larry Bird video I'll ever be doing that has to involve Larry Bird, but this is the last Larry Bird solo video that I am doing, y'all. We have wrapped up this series of Larry Bird. I think Larry Bird, I've done like, what, maybe 5 videos now? Maybe 4 or 5 videos now dedicated to Larry Bird. We know a lot about Larry Bird. We know his history. But I wanted to end with this video. Shout out to you in the comments. I tried to find your comment before I started recording this video. I genuinely did. You know who you are. You told me to watch this video. I think you even linked it to me in the comment section. Shout out to you, man. I would not be watching this if it wasn't for you. So shout out to you. We got 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird is the toughest player in NBA history. Now listen, obviously I have been reading y'all's comments. I've been replying to some of y'all. The ones who are straight up on some like, just trying to tarnish who I am as a person, I'm not responding to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're really, really talking crazy about me, I'm deleting your comment, bitch. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? We not spreading no hate in the comments, bro. We are talking hoops. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, especially the ones of y'all who are thinking that like, I hate Larry Bird or I'm hating on Larry Bird. Some of y'all been taking it as far as I'm racist and shit. I'm like, bro, are we being serious right now? If y'all met me in person, like, obviously through a YouTube screen, I mean through a camera, like y'all can't even like really tell. I try my hardest to give my exact, like, this is how I am as a person, but like, if y'all actually talk to me in person, you would know, bro, I love everybody, bro. I don't give a fuck about color. Nigga, I'm black. Why am I judging people? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I don't hate Larry Bird, bro. And I don't even really want it. It's almost to the point where a lot of y'all have been having me right on the edge of telling y'all where I'm placing him in my top 10. It's like, bro, y'all can't wait for the top 10 video. You know what I'm saying? The one thing I will ask out of all you Larry Bird fans, because I'm going to be real, it's only you Larry Bird fans. If I talk about MJ, when I was making them MJ videos before the Larry Bird videos, and I was talking about how I had LeBron over MJ, bro, the MJ fans were not talking crazy. They were not so crazy mad that I wasn't saying that he wasn't number one. They were educating me as to why he is number one, but they wasn't talking crazy, acting like I'm a hater and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get it, bro. At the end of the day, man, if you believe Larry Bird is the greatest player to ever touch a basketball, pick up a basketball, and dribble one, hey, man, keep thinking that. That's for you. Bro, the whole point of NBA debates is we're not all going to agree. We just have to all educate each other. That's the whole point of it, bro. No, has anybody ever made the most valid top 10 list or top 5 list? Like, it's never going to happen, yo. So if I have somebody in my top 5 that you don't, that's my top 5. There's a reason why it's my top 5. You know what I'm saying? If I don't think Larry Bird is the greatest If I don't think Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player ever, then I don't think he is. That doesn't mean I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? Because Larry Bird is, I've been saying in my videos, he is a bad motherfucker. I just watched the Prime Larry Bird channel or whatever. I said he was whipping MJ's ass. But y'all didn't like how I said at the end, MJ's still the GOAT. Y'all didn't like that though. I think I replied to somebody in my comments last night. I said, listen, MJ and Larry Bird discussion, the way I look at it is the same thing with like KD and Curry. All y'all notice, we all can agree. KD, if we had to pick up KD or Curry in a pickup game, we're all picking up KD. Unless you really just want Curry or something, but at that point you're probably being biased because you probably like Curry more than KD. But as a hooper, we all know KD has more abilities and skills than Curry. We all know this. But who's greater? Who's greater? Y'all would all say probably Curry. You know what I'm saying? It's no different from Larry Bird and MJ. I say Larry Bird literally wipes. I ain't gonna say wipes. That's low-key disrespectful to MJ. But he is better than MJ. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a better player than him. He's not greater than him, though. I can't say he's greater than him, bro. I think MJ never lost in the finals, bro. When he actually got there. Sure, folks was beating on him before there. But once he got to the finals, every time he touched the finals, he did not lose. How are you going to deny that? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to, like, nigga, that's greatness. And he was the leader of his teams. It's not like he wasn't the leader of his teams. So I just don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Y'all make it seem like I'm just hating on Larry Bird, bro. But it's like, I fuck with Larry Bird. But Larry Bird was crazy, bro. He was crazy. And I was even said in my mixtape video, like, I feel bad that he even had to retire so early because he was fucking nasty. He was a demon. You know what I'm saying? But I understand, man. That's how it's gonna be when, you know what I'm saying, you react to a certain player that everybody fucks with, especially like his fan base. Like if they think he's number one, bro, and you say he's not number one, they gonna attack you. But it's like, y'all really got to think to yourself, man. Nobody puts Larry Bird in the greatest player of all time discussion. Nobody. Anytime you look on social media, anytime you listen to analysts, anytime you listen to even like basketball players talking, nobody says Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player ever. Nobody says that. So why are y'all making it like I'm saying something crazy? I don't know. But I have to understand I'm going against his fan base. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, we are together, y'all. We are together. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. I'm not giving. I just had to get that off my chest, yo. I just had to get that off my chest. Because I'm like, bro, y'all tripping over me saying he ain't the greatest player ever. It's crazy. But he's not. He's not. He was nice as fuck. He was nice as shit. Don't get me wrong. Led his team to championships. But he's not the greatest player ever, bro. He's not. It's simple as that, bro. But shout out Dom2K. I've actually been subscribed to Dom2K for the longest. You know what I'm saying? Larry Bird, see, I almost said it where he was in my top 10. Larry Bird is in my top 10, obviously. And yes, he's above Curry. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all think I'm biased to Curry and all this shit like that. But, like, bro, I just be trolling with Curry, bro. I know where Curry stands. I know what Curry means and all this stuff to the NBA. Like, I'm not biased with Curry as much as I make it seem. I'm not actually being serious. We're going to see the toughest, or not the toughest, the craziest stories about Larry Bird that prove he was the toughest player or whatever. I'm excited. Shout out Dom2K. Road to 10K. We are about to hit 6K, y'all. Shout out to all y'all, man.
We've all heard the stories about Kobe Bryant.
And y'all have to understand, man. The same thing with the MJ and LeBron video. My first ever, like, MJ videos. Bro, with maybe more videos of me also watching Larry Bird, maybe my opinion will change. Maybe it will. But as for right now, how I feel and what I'm seeing and what I know about some certain things in the past, bro, I don't think Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player ever. Like, it's okay, though. It's okay. It's not like me. It's not like I'm saying he's not top 10 or he's not even top 50. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Some of us have actually seen with our own eyes how incredibly tough the guy was, trying to play on a freshly sprained ankle to wheel the Lakers to the playoffs, winning the championship with a fractured finger. He's got a great case for being the toughest player in NBA history. But then there's Larry Bird, and many people don't.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Larry Bird gotta be one of like the actual like most toughest players, bro. For your back to be fucked up like that, and then y'all told me in the other video that those scratches on his neck, man, like. Then he had the ankle problems. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. He got to be number one for toughest player in the NBA. I'm not gonna hold you.
But he might have been equally as tough, if not tougher, than Kobe Bryant when it came to pain tolerance. Bird was such a warrior that he often didn't even like to let the team staff know he was hurt. That is until later in his career when his back had deteriorated to an unbearable point. And because Bird was such a warrior, today I want to tell you guys 4 crazy stories about Larry Bird's insane level of toughness.
Dang.
What's up, NBA fans?
How long you feel this video gonna be sad?
You've probably seen the shots of Larry Bird torturing himself later in his career when his back was forcing him into retirement, but you might not know what allowed him to deal with that pain in the first place. It turns out Larry was dealing with physical ailments even before he entered the league. Before he'd ever played a game with the Celtics, he actually had his knuckle shattered by a baseball that put his professional career in jeopardy.
What?
But because he's Larry Bird and Larry Bird is from a different planet, he was able to put together a top 10 NBA career despite not ever having.
See? Hey, context is everything. That's my first time ever hearing that, y'all. That's my first time ever hearing that. His knuckles were shattered. And he still went on to win 3 MVPs, win 3 chips. Yo, Larry Bird. Yeah, I see you, my brother. I see you. Hey, shout out to Larry Bird. Where Larry Bird been, bro? I feel like I don't see him on television or anything like that. Just like MJ. Like, where they be at?
Having the same shooting touch just before he shattered his knuckle. Wrap your mind around that for a second. Larry Bird accomplished everything he did in his career, and he said out of his own mouth that he never had the same feel for the basketball after the knuckle injury. But as it turns out, that's just an appetizer compared to what he'd endured throughout his career. Let's jump into it. Number 4. Hole in the face.
What?
I figured we'd start off with something crazy we've seen before. Remember when Russell Westbrook fell down after his free throw and got a hole kicked in his jaw? Yeah, that left a lot of us wondering if Westbrook was actually Android a human because he got up, moved his mouth around a little bit, and finished up what was left of the game. Luckily for him, that was only about 1 second of game time. However, it turns out that 33 years earlier, Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook one better. I originally thought there wasn't footage of this on YouTube, but I'm so thankful there was, because you need to witness how brutal this was.
Okay.
In a 1982 game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Larry Bird drove left to the basket and tried to bank in a routine jump shot. It clanked off the rim. Bird went up to rebound his own miss and was violently elbowed by power forward Harvey Catchings. Where Westbrook's injury was an accident by his own teammate that didn't even look too bad initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose, and you actually cringe initially. It's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose.
Ooh, yeah, that might have been on purpose. That might have been on purpose. And you already know players back then, bro. It don't even matter if it's players back then or players now, bro. Like, they be trying to mask it with the, oh, bro, you good, you good, you good. Man, you know dang well you was trying to get me out of here, bro. And that's the thing. That's what we ask, bro. They be like so sorry, like, and mad about the fact that you nice like that they don't, like, they want to injure. That's why I said, bro, like, I appreciate the players back then and the defense they played. They set the foundation. Obviously, ended up going away. The NBA went away from it, but like I actually agree with hand checking. When I play with my homies outside and shit, like I be hand checking them. They be talking about, no, we ain't do hand checking. I'm like, no, we hand checking, y'all. I'm gonna be real. When I start dropping my basketball content, y'all gonna see I actually take pride in playing defense, y'all. And I don't play like NBA type defense. I actually try to be on you and stay with you. You know what I'm saying? So I actually know that the players in the 90s and 80s and all that, like, they played good defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never said they don't play good defense. I saw all the hacking and stuff they do, all the elbows on purpose, trying to bring you down by the neck on purpose. Like, bro, that's not defense, bro. That's not defense. And I'm only saying that's not defense because a lot of people try to say, oh man, that was tough. That was good defense. Great way. Like, no, bro. That was just them being desperate for the best player probably not to get a point. You know what I'm saying? I was just desperate. Like, hey, man, I'm not saying today's NBA is any good. It's not at all, actually. But we're not going to make it seem like the early 2000s and even a little bit into the 2010s. Like, I would say up until, like, maybe 2016, 2017. I would say 2017. That's when the Warriors really killed the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, up until 2017, that's when I feel like, bro, after 2017, defense got shitty as hell. Trash, bro, trash. But before 2017, I genuinely feel like the 2000s and the 2010s and a little bit after, like, I feel like they played a good defense, but they still played regular defense. It wasn't as hard and, like, hacking, but you know what I'm saying? They still played good defense, so, hey.
And you actually cringe a bit when you see how hard the shot was. The elbow practically knocked Bird out and left him lying on the floor for several minutes as he looked seriously injured. From what I can tell in the tape, the injury appeared to happen before the end of the third quarter because Larry Bird went back to the locker room and came back out before the period had ended.
He stayed doing that!
Playing with what we now know was a fractured zygotic arch, Bird would score 8 more points including a poster dunk, 2 assists, adding some defense and hustle plays as he was even shoved out of bounds during one of the possessions. His efforts led the Celtics to a narrow win as he finished with 16 points, meaning he scored half of them with a fractured arch in crunch time, and even though we can't see it on the grainy 80s footage, Bird's jaw was depressed inward the same way Westbrook's was. After Larry left his heart on the floor for his team, he was sent to the hospital where doctors had to drill a hole into the side of his face and insert a medical tool to pop his zygotic arch back out. If social media had been around with clear footage back in these days, this performance would probably be a lot more famous. We were shocked to see Westbrook standing.
I'm surprised I've never seen this footage before, man. NBA, that's what I said. NBA low-key don't be showing love to certain players no more, bro. Like, at all. They still talk about Larry Bird, but, like, I promise y'all, bro, I really don't hear about Larry Bird nowadays when it comes to NBA, bro. Like, and it's crazy because Larry Bird was fucking like that. He was like that, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, before I started watching, like, how good was Larry Bird and his mixtapes and everything like that, I knew of Larry Bird because I knew, like, how nasty he was. I've just heard of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, rest in peace, my homeboy. He's the one that even put me on to, like, Larry Bird. His favorite player, his favorite white boy was Larry Bird, too. He had a Larry Bird jersey and everything. Like, I knew about Larry Bird, but I didn't know he was, like, really averaging, like, 10 assists, 11 rebounds, like, all that shit, bro. Like, damn, Larry. Okay, Larry. You know what I'm saying?
Hole in his face. Imagine
no holes in this game.
Play an entire extra quarter while leading his team to the win. Number 3. Just give me a beer. It's understandable that Larry dealt with injuries like back problems and broken bones in the face. Those things just tend to happen when you're crashing into the floor and whatnot. But when Larry Bird had a toe infection, it really seemed like somebody was just testing how much he could take before he finally sat out a game. In the year 1985, Bird reportedly had a serious pain going on in his toe for 3 weeks that he played on, and he wouldn't bother to get it checked out because, again, he didn't like to let anybody know he was hurt. Finally, he let the doctor look at his foot, to which it would be found that Bird had a toe infection that would require his toe to be cut so the infection could drain. The doctor insisted that Bird take a shot of Novocaine to ease the pain because the infection was actually between his toes, which was obviously going to hurt a lot. And then Bird responded, "Just give me one of those beers over there."
That's
so
crazy,
he used that as his pain medication. The doctor cut 2.5 inches into his toe to let the infection drain. Larry wrapped up the foot and played the exact same night.
Oh, nah. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. We talking about Mamba mentality. Can we talk about some Larry Bird mentality? Larry Bird mentality is way tougher than the Mamba mentality. And that's no disrespect to Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. You know what I'm saying? He's the next person we're gonna be watching about how good were they. But bro, dog. They went to talking about, hey, bro, we might have to cut off your foot. You know what I'm saying? So like we might do all that type of stuff. Yo, just hand me a beer. Matter of fact, do whatever drainage you gotta do. I'm gonna go play that same night. Yo, dog. Nasty.
Unfortunately, I can't find any kind of information on when this game was, who it was against, or anything like that, and I can't even see how he performed. But when he got done with the game, the wrap was obviously soaked in blood, and he was in considerable pain during the game. If it's anything like the other ridiculous games Bird had after some kind of injury that should have had him sitting for days, it's safe to say he performed well. But the fact that he played with a 2.5 inch cut into his toe with no pain meds is impressive enough for me. Number 2, double vision. A lot of people can't even shoot when there's just one basket sitting still, so imagine trying to play in a professional game when you fractured your eye orbiter and you're seeing 2 baskets. Now the injury itself sounds pretty comparable to what Derrick Rose had not too long ago.
That boy
the
Derrick
difference
Rose
here being that Rose got hurt before the season and was able to get his problems to a manageable point before playing in a real game. Bird, however, would not be so lucky. In a 1988 game against the Cavaliers, Bird was on fire, having scored 13 points in the first quarter. But when he spun away from Craig Elo with a clear lane to the basket, Del Curry of all people would rotate and hit Bird with a violent elbow to the side of his face.
Del!
Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently
You heard that right? You heard that right?
side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he
Now I know what Don about to say. When he was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was playing against the greatest shooter of all time. Because that's what I would say. I'm going to be real with y'all. Like, I genuinely have Larry Bird number 2 at the greatest shooter of all time. After him, I honestly might put Klay Thompson. Now, when I say Klay Thompson, I'm just talking about prime Klay Thompson. I ain't talking about Klay Thompson now. Because that motherfucker is not one of the greatest shooters of all time. But Klay Thompson, before the injuries, bro, he's in the top 3. I don't care where you put him, he's in the top 3. Actually, now you can't put him above Curry, and that's why I got to put him 3. I don't even think I can put him above Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? But Larry Bird, it goes Curry, Larry Bird, and then Klay. And I don't think that's disrespectful at all. Obviously, the game has changed, y'all. Larry Bird is not popping no half-court threes. Stop. You know what I'm saying? He did it sometimes, but like it's not a thing for him to just do. Obviously, the game was different. So with the game changing, certain things get better, and certain people like become better than somebody at something if the game evolves. Like, it's simple as that, bro.
Elbow to the side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the...
And I'm not being biased, y'all. I don't even know why I'm explaining myself to y'all. I just don't want people to think I'm being biased. I just have my own opinion about something. But
greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently trying to take out the best one of his generation.
See?
Anyways, Bird sustained a fractured eye orbiter that again kept him on the floor for minutes. He went on to the locker room for treatment, came back out 6 years earlier, only this time he would score 18 more points to put the finishing touches on a 31-point game that included 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals on 11 of 20 shooting.
Damn, Larry!
But the stats weren't even the most impressive part. According to Larry, he played the rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at.
I believe him too, I ain't gonna lie.
That's not the best part either. Not only did he light Cleveland up, but we know double vision doesn't go away after one game. As we've already established, if there was any other option than to sit a game out, that's what Bird was gonna do. He ended up playing 4 more games with goggles that I'm not even sure anybody really knew he wore, and in those games, he scored 36, 30, 28, and 34 points. In typical Larry Bird fashion, he shot a staggering 55% from the field with that. Violent elbow, fractured eye orbiter, goggles, elite scoring, hitting on over half of his field goal attempts. Again, he's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is from another planet. Just to add some more to the story, apparently after the Cleveland game where he initially broke the orbiter, he noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a typical day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess. Number 1, Celtic Pride.
The video already about to be over?
You hear all this talk about Celtic Pride anytime we speak about the history, and Larry Bird contributed in big part to that as his career was wrapping up. Possibly the most famous scene from the ending of his career is the one we've all seen. Larry was diving for a loose ball, goes crashing to the floor as his head bangs against it violently, and he just lays there as if his body couldn't take it anymore. Truth be told, it really couldn't. Bird was dealing with insane back issues by this point in his career, and it was through sheer determination.
He was dealing with a lot of back issues from carrying the motherfucking Celtics. No cap. No cap. Being real. Best player for that long, man. You carrying them, bro. You doing like the heavy lifting. Man, you scoring 30 like that? All the assists, all the steals, all that, bro.
That he was even playing by this point. However, the story behind this scene is that not only was Bird's back locking up on him, but the shot he took to the head actually knocked him unconscious for a second and left him with a concussion that threatened to keep him out of the rest of an elimination Game 5 against the Pacers. By this point, Larry was 34 years old and had missed 22 games throughout the season, and his best days had been stripped from him by an ever-deteriorating back. He sat in the locker room debating whether to go back into the game as Boston had lost their edge without him.
Oh my God, how do you lose that ball?
The advantage was with the Pacers. When Larry asked the doctor for advice, he said he should be done for the day, but by this point, we all know Larry just wasn't built like that. He was still breathing, so he went back into the game with the Celtics down by 3, while they were being cracked over the head by Chuck Persons, I might add. With Bird,
this the one game that you ever seen every turn. I'm tripping.
33-14 run and went on to win the game by 3 points, sending the Pacers home for the playoffs.
Yeah, he's like that, bro. Oh my God.
And 7 assists while shooting 63% from the field. But again, that's not the most shocking part of this story. According to teammates like Robert Parrish, when Bird hit the floor, they weren't sure he was ever going to play again. Remember that this happened at the end of Bird's career, and after back surgeries and having to lay in a fiberglass brace for hours just to be well enough to play, some thought that the fall he took meant the end of his career. And it probably would have been if Larry Bird was from Earth, but instead he went out and put up one of the most memorable playoff performances of all time. The kind of performance that really makes you sad that his career was really cut short by injury.
Facts, man. Like, I still appreciate that he even had a decently length career. He was able to get 3 MVPs and 3 chips. But just imagine if his back wasn't having problems, everything, y'all, everything. Just imagine. He probably would have had 6 rings like MJ. I ain't gonna hold you. He probably would have had 6. Yeah. If y'all saw my video from yesterday with the 90s or whatever, I said MJ probably would have had 7 if he never would have retired that 1 year. But Bird probably would have had 6. I ain't gonna lie.
So there you have it. These were 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was likely the...
Shit! Now that I think about it, yo, MJ might not have 6. He might not have 6. Because MJ didn't start winning until Bird left the league. I'm gonna keep it Jay. He ain't start winning, MJ. Now, do I really fault MJ for that? No. Because at the end of the day, it's like big bro to little bro. But when Jordan was young, y'all seen the video that we reacted to of MJ versus Larry Bird. MJ was young, his team wasn't as good or whatever. Bird was in his prime. So it makes sense that he was really putting belt to ass against you. It didn't matter what you did, how many points you tried to put up MJ, I was putting belt to ass against you. You was little pup, I was big dog. You know what I'm saying? But I would have loved to see if he did not get injured and we got to really see that, I don't want to call it a rivalry because, gang, he was whipping your ass the whole time. But I would have loved to see that head-to-head matchup. You know what I'm saying? Once Jordan already had Pippen, but, once they got a little more integrated. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Player of all time. The crazy part about it, after reading the book he wrote with Magic Johnson and researching a little bit, I could have easily told 10 or more. The truth that people don't really talk about in terms of Larry is that despite his amazing career, it was truly only a shell of what he could have been. As early as 1985, only 6 years into Larry Bird's career, he was already experiencing back issues that resulted from him doing concrete work around his house that he could have paid someone else to do. But that's just who Larry was, an incredibly hard worker that prided himself on being the same type of soldier his father was.
That's fine.
Larry cherishes a story about his father when he came home one day from work and had a busted ankle. The next day, the ankle was so bad that Larry had to help him put the shoe on, and his father went right back to work. It was the kind of example that led Larry to play through the ridiculous pain he began to experience really only a short way into his career. Bird played a total of
that's when Larry got into it. Let's get negative.
A player could produce. But imagine one of our modern stars only lasting 13
I like Larry because he didn't back down from nobody, bro. You ain't about to push me around, bro. Don't get confused with the skin color gang. Don't get confused. Don't get it twisted, bro. I really lay some shit down. Pause. No Diddy baby oil. But I really lay some shit down, bro.
LeBron is already on his 14th campaign. Durant is
look at him walking the man down. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
That's just for of what a Flash Bird's career really was. And we're lucky that for that short amount of time, he had the high pain tolerance that he did. Because if he was actually human and sat out those games that anybody else would have sat out, we would have likely seen even less of him. So in conclusion, I think Bird is proof that there is life outside of Earth, and we really aren't alone. There is the planet Larry Bird came from, where there's extraterrestrial life that apparently doesn't feel any type of pain. Shatter their face, knock them out, just give them a few minutes and they're right back on their feet ready to play. And if they're generous enough, maybe they're gonna send another one like Larry to Earth to play in the NBA in the future. But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy that Larry Bird was a part of NBA history.
Ooh, that was a nice layup.
The video. Hope you learned something. Leave your favorite Larry Bird story.
Hey, shout out to Dom 2K for the video. I'm definitely gonna start checking out more Dom 2K videos, especially on like the older players and the older generation. But yeah, bro, I don't even think it's like, obviously, because it's not a thing where we're being dead ass when we say Larry Bird's not from Earth. But Larry Bird is a different type of like he didn't care how much he was hurt. He said, bro, I'm going out there to win. I'm going out there to put my team in the best positions I can. Like, and for that, you have to respect him. You have to respect him. And I respect Larry Bird. That's why I don't like how a lot of y'all in the comments try to make it seem like I don't respect him or I'm a hater and all this shit, bro. I just like basketball, y'all. You know what I'm saying? All that extra shit that comes with some of these other YouTubers, bro, I'm not one of them. My name is Ty2 True. I like to keep it true. I like to keep it truthful and real. And I take criticism, bro. But I'm going to also tell y'all if I'm not actually doing that shit. So respect to Larry Bird. I'll be giving y'all my top 10 player video soon. Very, very soon. I just want to react to a few more how good was this person and a few more highlight mixtapes and stuff like that. What do y'all want me to react to next? I told y'all Kobe is somebody that I'm thinking about reacting to next, and how good was he and his highlight mixtape. So y'all let me know if y'all want to see anybody else before I do my top 10. But regardless, I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.